Tremendous cute, tremendous cute, tremendous cute.
Who's your favorite Pitmaster's favorite Pitmaster?
Hey, what's going on, Tremendous Q fans? It's your boy here, Wade Morris, owner of Pitmaster Tremendous Q, and welcome back for another video. So this one is a little bit more of an instructional video, and we're talking about competition barbecue. So when I first got into this thing, pretty much all I had was barbecue Pitmasters, every barbecue cookbook I could get my hands on, and the internet. All right, it's a lot more than a lot of guys had a few years back, but still there was a lot of questions that I had, me Wade personally, that I just wasn't getting answers to on those three different mediums between the television, the internet, and those books. So with this video, I'm hoping to fill in some of those gaps for folks who are looking into getting into competition barbecue. In this video, we're going to be looking at competition chicken, how I do my cook process. All right, so this was the very first time that I ever did a practice cook for barbecue chicken. Things have changed a little bit. This video is a little bit older. I did film this a while back. I've done a few competitions since then, and I've changed a few things up, but the overall process itself is still majority the same, okay? The only thing I'm not gonna be showing in this video, I'm gonna do a completely separate video on, is how to actually trim the chicken for competition, all right? As anybody who does competition barbecue knows, chicken is the bane of most pitmasters' existence, all right? Trimming that chicken down, you know, whether or not you take the bone all the way out, making sure they're in a perfectly round shape, size, whatever it is that you want to call it. A friend I heard explain this extremely well. What we do to the chicken is completely unnatural in order to present it to the judges. But if it wins a contest, I don't think there's much a pitmaster won't do. So with that, let's jump right into this video. Like I said, it's a little bit more instructional, so if you got a pen and paper, take notes, or just watch it over and over and over again. I could also use the views too, all right? Thank you guys for coming back, and let's jump right into this competition chicken.
All right, so here we go. As you notice, chicken's already trimmed, and I got it inside of these neat little pans, all right? That is absolutely on purpose. So when I get done trimming my chicken, no two thighs on any particular bird look exactly the same. They're not shaped the same. They're not all the same size. They don't all have the same amount of meat. So I use these pans in order to create uniformity, which is hugely important when you start talking about presentation for your turn-in boxes at your competitions, all right? So I'm gonna take all of these chickens out of the pan, and we're going to place them inside of our brine. And during a normal competition, once I put the chicken inside the brine, I would actually put it inside of my ice chest. But for the purposes of the video, we're just going to throw it inside of a refrigerator. Okay, so because the chicken has been sitting inside of these pans, and when you put them in the brine, and then the brine goes inside of the ice chest, the low temperature, it being cold, helps to keep that chicken in the same shape throughout the entire process, from prep all the way until turn in. So that's really important, and that's one of the main reasons that I use that pan. And you can see the chicken placed neatly inside of our brine box or our brine container, and then going inside of the refrigerator for it to basically absorb some of that, help maintain moisture while it's absorbing some of the saline from the brine. All right, so now we're going to pull it out. And we're going to place it on top of our pan that we're actually going to put inside of our cooker. And you'll notice that they're going on top of a wire rack, and that is absolutely intentional to make sure that the bottom of the chicken cooks just as evenly as the top does, okay? So this is our injection. We're going to inject the chicken. You don't have to inject your chicken. I personally do, because I believe that it helps with moisture, all right? So we're going to inject all 4 pieces. No, I won't give you the secrets to my injection. This is more about process and technique, not necessarily trade secrets. But go ahead and inject your chicken, and make sure that you get it nice and plump, all right? You're going to overfill your chicken, and that's a good thing, okay? So you want to make sure you pack it, because the reason that we're doing this is to get as much flavor into one bite as humanly possible, all right? The judges are probably only going to take one bite, so you want to pack as much flavor in there as humanly possible. Now we're going to add a little bit of chicken broth with a few other secret ingredients to the bottom of the pan. And this is, again, to help with moisture, but you don't want to put a ton in the pan, just enough to cover the bottom, okay? Next, we're going to dust our chicken, all right? We're dusting the bottom and we're dusting the top. And we're going to dust the sides as well. And I want to make a point. A lot of folks, when I see doing competition chicken, when they first start out, they only dust the top. Well, think about when you put a piece of chicken into your mouth. What does your tongue hit first? The bottom of it, right? So make sure you're dusting the entire piece of chicken, okay? And then, now with just the meat dusted, we're going to come back and we're going to place our skins on top, and we're going to dust again. All right, so again, what's the most important thing during that one bite during a competition? Packing as much flavor as humanly possible. All right, so a lot of care goes into what you're going to be putting into that turn-in box. So you want to make sure that if a judge is only going to take one bite, they get as much flavor as humanly possible. All right, so with all our skins on, we're going to make sure that they're perfectly placed. We're going to tuck the skin underneath the bottom, and then we're going to come back and we're going to dust the top of the skins as well. These only need a light dusting because you already put some of your rub on the actual chicken itself. All right, now it's time for the pit. All right, so when you're putting these things on the smoker, I tend to put them a little bit closer to my firebox. Chicken cooks a little bit faster. All right, and I'm gonna put my probe inside the meat, and I'm gonna go underneath the skin. All right, I know some guys will pierce straight through the skin. That's just personal preference. I'm gonna put my probe actually under. I'm gonna lift the skin up a little bit and put it directly into the meat. It's only gonna be on the smoker for about 45 minutes to an hour because I'm cooking at 275. And remember, you don't want to get your chicken. You want to pull your chicken or cover it a little bit before the color that you want it to be when you actually put it in a turn-in box, because your sauce is going to darken your chicken up as well. All right, so after about 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to place foil on top, and that's going to cook the chicken the rest of the way. All right, so probably in another 45 minutes to an hour, you're probably at about the 2 hour point now. Your chicken should be right at about your turn-in temperature. Okay, whatever that is for, again, personal preference that you want to put inside the turn-in box. Absolutely don't go any lower than 145. That's the USDA minimum. Anything over 165 and you're probably going to start drying your chicken out. All right, so now with our chicken at the desired temperature, we're going to pull the rack out of the outside of the half pan, and we're going to start to douse the chicken in our barbecue sauce. All right, so remember what I said earlier, you don't want to get your chicken as dark as you think it needs to be for the turn-in box, because when you put it inside of the sauce, it's going to darken up a little bit. Okay, so here's our sauce, homemade barbecue sauce. Here's our chicken. It's a nice golden brown color, and then when we put it inside of our sauce, it's going to turn that golden brown mahogany red. All right, and here's a tip. Again, this was the very first time I did this. Use a brush to cover your chicken. I didn't actually pierce the skin while I was doing this, but I learned very quickly that the fork has, with it being metal and the skin being so thin, you just don't want to take any chances. So make sure you're using a brush whenever it is that you're dousing your chicken, and then place it back on the rack. The rack also helps because you can pull all the chicken off all at one time, and you're not doing everything individually. And trust me, every second counts when you're getting ready to build in your turn-in box, especially if you are a solo pitmaster like myself. My wife is there, the kids are there, but she's really spending most of her time taking pictures for social media and then wrangling the midgets. So this is what the finished product looks like. All right, this didn't take long. You can douse the chicken once or you can douse it twice, but you're probably only going to leave it on the smoker for about 10-15 minutes. You want it on there just long enough for the sauce to set. All right, so now we got the chicken off of our smoker. You can see that it's darkened up. It's not that golden brown anymore. We got that nice mahogany color, and I dusted the top of the chicken a little bit more, as well as the bottom, with a little bit more of our rub. Now let's real quick bite test, see if we get that bite through skin, and boom, there it is. That is exactly what you were looking for. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.